Yeah, so where were we with 3D? Like 3D had already entered the world of games, right? But we were like, no, we love 2D stuff, but we have all these vehicles we have to make.
Dark Forces was just before this, right? Or just it was
concurrent.
It was concurrent.
It shipped around the same time.
It shipped around the same time. That's right.
Because we technically shared a wrap
and
party.
that was sort of knocking off Doom to some extent.
It had 3D.
So was Rebel already happening? Because we had a 3D department. There was like 3 guys.
Yeah,
I think that's why we had it. What them was for the Rebel Assault stuff.
Yeah, I think so. Mm-hmm. And then, we were talking about there's no way we can draw. Like we were looking at all the reference material from that anime film Akira. All the motorcycles were like, there is no way we can draw this stuff by hand. But then we were trying to figure out how do we get it to look 2D and just compressing the heck out of the palette and simplifying it.
This was a...
Because they probably didn't have the cartoon renderers back then, right?
No, we didn't have cell shading or anything.
No. So it's just...
I remember there was a big struggle was trying to get it to actually match.
Yeah, so we were just trying to limit the palette, and then we had the 3D Ben on the bike, and then we would draw over it. Now this is the area where we were originally going to have the whole Ricky Myron section, right?
We were jumping over.
Yeah,
a gorge. We do have that here with the gorge. You jump over.
No, but there was the stunt show and the whole Ricky Myron character stuff.
Ricky Myron, by the way, is a kid I went to. I was in 4th grade,
oh, yeah?
and we're on the playground, and I had this rock, and for no reason at all, I want to see how high I could throw this rock in the air, and I threw it as high as I could, and it came down, and it hit Ricky Myron in the head. And he was like, "Why'd you do that?" And I was like, "You know what? Someday I'm going to make you a star. I'm going to
put you in the game.
I'll make it up to you.
I'm going to put you in the game, and then I'm going to cut you out of the game."
Yep. You're going to be a reference, but you're going to be a great daredevil.
Lots of interesting backstory because it was the stuff we cut. Remember, because the game was getting so huge, and we're like, "We'll never finish this." And I think there was that and one other section. We were looking for stuff to cut, and everything was too interconnected to everything else. We're like, we can't cut anything except the Ricky Myron section. That's kind of its own piece.
There's the sound of you driving over rough roads here.
Yeah.
Steve, I remember you were duly hard on me to get that sound right of the tire going over those reflectors in the center of the road. And it's true. It makes that sound. We all know that sound. It's like it sort of sounds like puck. Puck, 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 puck. And I have to admit, I had a really hard time making that sound. Finally, one time I was just driving and holding my arm out the window of my truck with a microphone and running over those things. I don't know if I ended up using those, but it was a tough sound to make, to get it right. Oh, Tim, chainsaw. I threw a party at my house, which was up in the woods in the house.
Oh, yeah.
And it was in the middle of a forest.
And we couldn't get to it.
And it had a long driveway that went through the forest.
Right.
And we had a terrible storm, and it was pitch dark. And the first person to arrive at my party was Tim, driving alone. And he came up to a fallen tree across the driveway. And I emerge with a chainsaw running in my hand and go walking up to
and a mask made of human flesh. And I
go walking up to Tim, and you were genuinely scared. Because he had read about stuff like this.
Up in the woods of Nicosia.
Yeah. Oh, no, that guy's got
I remember that party.
Yeah, it was fun.
Star Wars Rebel.
That was a good party.
Tattoo on his... Yeah, where is this place? It's just like a circle of bikers randomly driving.
Well, it's like Highway 9. Actually, I wonder if there's a highway called Highway 9 on the way down this like Santa Cruz that bikers love. It's an actual like biker road where bikers go on a lot, and there's a lot of biker bars on the way and stuff. So that's real. That's right out of the pages of California history.
Is that 17 that you're talking about?
It's off of 17. Or it's the mountain road that you would take next to 92 and Highway 1.
So I remember when we were in the end of QA, and Tim decided to go play pool one night in San Francisco. This was before cell phones. And something came up, and I had to find Tim and bring him back. I think it was for the bunnies. And because there was a bug that had to be fixed, and we had to ship this game. And so all I knew was that Tim had gone to play pool in San Francisco.
Well, I didn't have any work to do.
Right.
So you're
So
basically
I
thumbing through
called.
yellow pages.
I had the
like that.
phone book, and I called every pool hall in San Francisco looking for him.
This makes me sound like a totally different person.
I
than
know. But he wasn't
Like every
in any.
juke joint.
He wasn't in any of them. So then I'm like, okay. So the last pool hall, I said, okay. So maybe he's in a bar with a pool table. Can you tell me the name of a bar that has a pool table? And he did. And then I looked that up and I called that. And then when he wasn't there, I just kept doing that until finally.
Are you kidding me?
Finally, I found him in some bar with a pool table.
Oh my goodness.
And
It was a kilowatt.
when he picked up the bar phone, he was terrified because he was like, "How did you find me?"
Actually, I don't remember this. This is crazy. I can't believe you found me by calling random bars. It makes me sound way cooler than I am, too. I like this. But what could I have done? I wasn't programmed.
I want to know how she described
Actually, I
you.
did program Fuzzy Bunnies.
It was something that you had to make a call on.
It was
something.
my actual bug.
Yeah, it was either your bug or you had to make a decision right then and there as to what we were going to do.
Bunnies in
about
or
it.
out?
Yeah, you remember how we got the rock and roll to sound so good in the game?
Oh, we just deliberately distorted it?
Yeah, we turned it up because of the low sample rate. We turned it up so it was about 50% too hot.
Clipping.
So it was clipping, so all the waveforms were being chopped.
Right.
For all you audio geeks out there, it's a real no-no. But it sounded,
It
it
sounded
was the
good.
best way to do it for that particular
Well,
sound.
since we're talking about Smush, which originated, I believe, with Rebel Assault, right? With Vince, in an earlier incarnation at least. And Vince liked to do everything himself, and we were a little miffed in the sound department because we found out that he had dubbed the Star Wars main theme himself using a boombox.
Right.
And the headphone output.
Right.
So, more geeky audio stuff, but basically a headphone signal is an amplified signal, right, to drive the headphones, and he put that right into the computer, to the Sound Blaster card, and sampled it. And it sounded really big and huge and over the top, and we said, Vince, let people do this who know how. So we couldn't get it to sound as good as he had it, no matter what we did. And then I finally realized the only way to get it to sound better, or even just a little better than what he had, was to deliberately clip it and overdrive the analog signal and overdrive everything.
I want to talk about Roy Conrad because we listened to a lot of audition tapes for this game, and everyone you tell them they're going to be a biker does this really like tough. That was my tough guy voice, like trying to be
like
super
Tasmanian
tough,
Devil.
and it always came through as trying to be tough, and I didn't like any of them. And then we heard Roy's voice, and it is really deep and tough sounding, but he's kind of gentle about it, and there's something about the fact that he's not trying to sound tough that just made us love it all right away. The second he started talking, we were like, yeah, Ben.
Such a great voice.
And he looked nothing like the character.
No, he looked like a dad, like a gentle,
kindly old
fatherly.
dad.
There was a local radio DJ named Alex Bennett who was a big fan of David Tentacle. And he was a fan of ours, and we got him to do the voice of the stadium announcer.
That's right.
That's Alex Bennett. He was like the Howard Stern before Howard Stern,
Yeah.
as I think you would say.
Didn't we get him to do some sort of PR thing on his show?
I got to go on the show and promote.
Oh, right.
Wasn't he at the
He was at the
He
rap
was
party.
at the rap party too, yeah. He was an institution in San Francisco radio
Yes,
for
he
us.
was.
KMEL and all these different stations.
Live 105, yeah.
105, yeah, he was a big deal, and then he got his voice in the game. Do you remember going to Skywalker Ranch to record a video that was for marketing purposes, which was the Gone Jackals playing? And I don't know what, this is for some B-roll that we recorded for marketing use, but they also took a picture of the band, and they made a leather jacket that said Full Throttle on it. And we filmed them playing in the same soundstage that the London Symphony Orchestra did Star Wars music on. And I just remember they came in and they wanted to pose with their bikes on the soundstage. And so they rolled, there was like the night watchman who was like letting us into the building. We had permission to be in there, but he like saw the motorcycles getting wheeled in. He's like, are those okay being indoors? I'm like, yeah. And like, he said, and he asked we had these actual biker guys who own the bikes wheel them in. He's like, are they gonna leak on the woods, hardwood floor in here? And the biker guy was just like, she'll leave her mark.
Well, that's a good
Like,
segue.
but it's no big deal.
I remember going into Tim's office at one point as the deadline was looming, saying, "Tim, you got to cut the mine road or the bunnies."
I remember
He's like, "I'm
that.
not cutting either one."
Mine Road or the bunnies?
Yeah, I'm like, "You got to cut one, Tim. Something's got to go."
We had
Or
already
it's a
cut
bump-
so much on this game, I was like, we can't cut anymore. And the bunnies are crucial to the narrative.
There's George.
George Lucas and
Oh, God, that's
It's just a lookalike.
That's awesome.
No, that's not George. It's
Somebody in a George costume.
I love the hair.
See, they're all in
Marina.
disguise. Marine's got a wig on.
So, Keith of the Gaunt Jackals recommended a guy he knew who had a Harley with straight pipes, a big old chopper, and every single cylinder stroke sounded literally like a cannon going off. I mean, literally. And that's Ben's bike. And we did a bunch of pass-bys and starts and all the things that you would do. But the best recording that came out was strapping a Walkman Pro with a cassette. It was a cassette recorder, which was actually really good that it wasn't digital, that it was recording onto magnetic tape because it's such a loud sound pressure. And we strapped it on the back of his bike with a gooseneck going to an SM57, which for audio people who may not know, is often used on a snare drum. It can take a lot of sound pressure level. These mics, you could mic, a cannon.
It was invented for the military.
Oh, really? Was it?
That's what Camden said the other day.
Wow. Okay.
He's probably right.
So I just strapped it on the back of his bike, and he just rode around, and that ended up being the cleanest recordings, the best recordings. We got accelerates, we got steadies, we got all kinds of stuff from that, and much of it was cut in without any processing or pitch shift or anything like that. It was just the sound of that wonderful Harley. So the driver of that almost dumped it though because it started raining. So we had to store it in the LucasArts lobby.
Right.
And
okay, I have to talk about this puzzle because it's causing me a lot of grief. This is the second puzzle everyone gets stuck on, and they hate it and they get
it's a
really
tough
angry.
one.
So the puzzle is supposed to be that you have to line up your knees, your eyes with a crack on the wall, and the puzzle is supposed to be that Maureen wasn't a grown-up woman at that time. She was only a 4-year-old girl, so the crack should be much lower, and if you go there and kick it, it works. But we're worried people would just brute force it and kick everything, so we made it so you couldn't kick it unless all these gauges were all lined up, which is a little contrived. And so, but that's where I learned the rule of adventure games. If it's possible at all to brute force something, they will do it. They'll be like, well, I guess I just got to kick every pixel on this wall. And so people would kick every pixel and be like, why did you make that stupid puzzle where you have to kick every pixel? And I'm like, it was supposed to be this other thing.
Supposed to figure it out.
You're supposed to think the way I thought about it. And so that was a big learning experience for me.
I do remember one time, like right as we were about to ship, I was testing it at home, like all night long, trying to crash it. And I started to doze off, and my cat walked across the keyboard
I remember that.
and crashed the game.
Oh, that's right, the cat crash bug.
Cat bug.
And we could never, your cat would not
Could
reproduce
not
it for us.
reproduce that bug.
And they were like, "But we've got to fix it." And it's like,
Bring the cat in. Bring
get
the
it
cat
to
in.
me, bro. I can't.
Did you thank that
Everybody
cat in the credits?
get a
What was
cat.
the name of
We
that
started
cat?
bringing cats into the pit.
Did you thank it in the credits? What cat was that?
It was Eartha, and she was thanked.
Thank you. This is the last game I ever programmed on, I believe. I remember doing Ben crawling all over the semi and doing the bunny stuff, which is maybe why it was such a problem. This is an interesting transition for me in learning about schedules and how terrible and hard they are. Because Day of the Tentacle, I feel like, was the last game we did that was on time.
Yeah.
It was not a breeze, but it was like no crunch mode, followed the schedule. And part of that is because we had an extra 6 months at the end because of adding the voice we had.
Right.
But and this was the first game that went way over budget that I worked on. And the first time I had a producer, which is Casey. So she would come in, and I just remember you asked
Like a specter.
yeah, she'd come in and be like, Tim, when is this going to be done? And I just remember that weird feeling of, and I told this to you, like, I don't know how to express this, but I feel like you come and ask me that question, and then I look over to the place where that information is, and I see this empty box with cobwebs in it. And then I come back, I don't know what to tell you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to present to you the future of Corley Motors. The Corley Minivan. Corley was right. I never dreamed it would actually come to minivans, though.
So at the time, this is the worst thing we could think of to happen, which was that the motorcycle company would start making minivans. Because minivans, I feel like minivans, they're pretty new in the 90s, right?
That's true.
That's when they emerged. They were the epitome of just selling out and living a suburban life.
Yeah, I've got one.
I would love to have one right now, let me tell you.
Yep.
But that was like the worst vehicle we could think of.
They were really ugly initially, too.
And nowadays it would be like, I don't know, SUV? No, I don't know. It would be something that would imply that a motorcycle company had sold out completely. Because we were like, how do you make it? Motorcycles, they live with a high-risk situation. How do you really threaten? How do you make something really scary? Like their way of life is going to end, and it's that their favorite motorcycle brand would start making this symbol of normal life.
Domesticity.
Suburban
Exactly.
bliss.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hey, when is it that George came down and spoke to us all, and he said he had his 55% rule? There was a game that precipitated that.
I thought it was 40. If you get 45% of what you want, then you're...
No, 55.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was 55. No, it was just over half. He goes, if you got this great idea and you think it's going to be killer, and through the realities of relegating it with a team and all the collaboration, all the technical limitations, you get it to 55% of relegating your concept, the audience will get it. And it's time to let go and ship your products, folks. Like, come on.
Right.
This is a business after all.
Modernize.
Where'd you get the idea of him having a New England accent? It's really cool.
Pepperidge Farms guy,
Pepperidge Farms.
I don't
here with these bikers.
In this, the voice for this game, I was more removed from it than I would be on future games. I got really involved in the casting.
Okay.
So I was involved in the casting of Ben and stuff, but Tamlin, Neelio, and Chris Brown did a lot of it on their own, and they went and recorded definitely without me. And so I don't remember. And Tamlin's thing was we got to differentiate all these characters,
Right.
and that's where a lot of the crazy accents come from. Is like you got to make them stand out from each other.
It worked. They're great.
All right, that's enough. How do I turn this damn thing off?
I feel like I remember programming this part too, because this is all like a reference to Dr. Strangelove. The code that you enter is I think preserve our essence.
Yeah,
which is
or
a big
Peter.
Peace on earth, purity of essence.
yeah.
Purity of essence, right? Or peace on earth, something like that.
Mandrake, ever been a prisoner of war?
Yeah. Why, yes, sir.
Yes, Jack. As a matter of fact, I have.
So this is a big question for the remaster because the aspect ratio is wider. And one of the puzzles here is as you run out of this, you don't see Ben's bike lurking in the corner. So you try to run for it and then you blow up. But it was a puzzle to you have to walk to the left to pan over to see the Ben's bike. But now I think it's just going to show.
Oh.
And I think the explosion looks like a giant croissant chasing you out of the plane. Watch this. Look for the croissant.
Must have been breakfast.
Here comes. And croissant.
Yes.
Delicious.
Flaky.
That's my favorite. Okay, that is a favorite.
That's the best shot.
Celebrity picture.
Haitian political analysis?
That was our custodian. We'd be working late in crunch mode, and the janitor would come by to clean up, and we'd end up talking to him for a long time. His name was Paul. Do you remember Paul? And he had this crazy vacuum cleaner that he wore like a backpack, and he would go down and we would have these long talks with him about Haiti and stuff because I was like, I think we'd seen Serpent in the Rainbow or something. We were like, tell us about the Tonton Maku. And he would tell us all about the real Haitian politics and stuff, and everyone got the credits back then. I think this is, I don't know, oh my God, I can't believe I got away with any of that. Like, someone complained about not being in credits, so I put him in his one. Oh, what a jerk. Now I totally remember why people hated me. Left the room.
They're all our kitty cats.
Who are all these cats? This is what bothered me.
I've got 3 cats in there.
How come I didn't get my cats?
Yeah, I stand by the statement.
Isn't Gigi?
Mine are Indian dogs. Who is Monkey?
Yeah. Monkey. I forget now. Well, thank you guys for coming and doing commentary. Do you have any final thoughts you'd like to share? How'd you like working on that game?
A lot better than I remembered.
Wait, the game was better than you remembered?
Or working on it was better than you
No,
remembered.
it looks good. It looks pretty good. I'd play that.
It was really fun. Fun project.
I remembered late on that there was one Easter egg that apparently Clint and Mark Crowley put in.
Oh.
That one night I heard when they were getting punchy.
What
What
Easter
was
egg
that?
was that?
I don't remember.
The
Actually-
safe.
The
When
safe.
you punch in your code in the safe, if you enter Mark Crowley's birthday, then
Oh,
Can it be said?
do you remember that?
I don't even remember that. This goes to show
Is
you.
that ship in the game?
It's like Kublai
Yes,
Khan.
Oh, man.
because it was the whole thing where we were like saying that we had to know about like every single Easter egg, just
Yeah.
let us know so we knew it was there.
And
And I guess they got punchy and decided to put it in.
There must have been some sort of vocal gratification.
Says it's still
But
in there.
all these years later, we're
Just gotta know
grateful.
Mark's
We're
birthday.
grateful that I made
You know
it in.
Mark Crowley and his birthday, you can find it.
It took us only 2 hours of playthrough to get to the farts. That's not bad.
yeah.